Good morning. This morning, yesterday, I wanted to talk about this moment from yesterday and share some gratitude and share my thought process here. In the afternoon, unfortunately, this is not a new occurrence, but I have this particular note in my Obsidian that's just like where I dump a whole bunch of ideas that I want to capture, and sometimes it gets kind of unruly, long, and hold on. But one of the things that I was doing yesterday, and I specifically don't want to talk about the idea, because it's something that I actually want to do, but I don't want the dopamine hit from talking about it. But it got me really excited, and it's one of those things where, well, let me tell you the thought or feeling that I had was, as I finished, I was like, it feels like I'm laying this huge foundation right now. And I think that applies in some regards generally to multiple areas of my life. It just feels like I'm laying bricks. I'm pouring the concrete for this huge ass foundation. Maybe it's not huge, but just the point of like, I'm laying a lot of foundation. And the thing that I was doing yesterday was something that I'm trying to think, would it help in the short term? I could share it, and it would potentially be helpful in the short term, but I think it's more helpful in the long term. And if I actually end up doing what I'm envisioning, I think it would take, at this current rate, like, it'll be most useful in like a year or two. And just that like kind of scale of like, man, this is going to be really helpful in a year. Yeah, I don't know. It just made me feel really grateful for, because like where I am right now is going to help my future self immensely. And it just made me think about all the things that I'm grateful for that my past self did, that I'm like reaping the rewards right now. Like, when I was in San Francisco, like the amount of time I spent, I would say like focusing on, first off, one of the first things was just getting off of social media, getting off of posting on Instagram. I think that was actually huge, because one of the things that I struggled with is external validation. And I think even just, I want to say like, even just posting stuff, and like, even if you don't feel that affected by it, I felt this, I wanted to be alone and like figure out my own brain kind of thing, you know? And I think just getting off of Instagram, and that was the main one, like helped immensely. And I focused on like, what am I passionate about? Like, what are my interests? And I have all of these notes from like different periods of my life in the past like 4 years in my Obsidian journal that's like, what are my interests? What are my strengths? Like, what am I passionate about? And just seeing that develop over time. So like putting that energy towards self-awareness and interests. And I did these monthly systems. I think it was end part of 2020, where every month I had just read Atomic Habits by James Clear, great book. And I decided that every month I would just do 3 habits or 3 actions. It was like read for 10 minutes. Like rather than read a book, read for 10 minutes, that kind of thing. Things that are controllable. And oh man, what a journey I've been on. The other thing was, or I mean, there are many things, but just off the top of my head, like actually, and this is more practical to me right now, but actually moving, cutting ties fully with Colorado, like actually, still can't believe I sold my 4Runner. That, like, I'm hugely grateful for. Oh my God, to have to deal with that right now. Oh my God. And like, got rid of all my stuff from Denver. Just like nothing left. All that, I spent so long doing all of that stuff, and so many trips to REI, buying clothes for this, and like crafting the perfect like one bag system that's like the perfect amount. Like, oh my, the amount that has helped just like having actual good clothes that fit well, that I look good in, and that are the perfect like size that fit in my backpack. Oh man. And then there's like how I chose to spend my money the past 4 years. I don't know how or why, but I'm incredibly grateful that I got deep into personal finance as I was graduating and created a budget and like relentlessly budgeted. And just like I would watch personal finance videos every day, at lunch, at dinner. It was just like everything was personal finance. And I can't tell you how much that had, like, I was thinking about buying a BMW out in San Francisco. I didn't own a car. I moved out to San Francisco, didn't own a car. But I like cars, and I like the like visual aspect of cars. And obviously how they drive. And I had started toying with the idea of buying a BMW 328, and I remember I never went to a dealership, but I thought about going and just like browsing, and I could have afforded one, but I was like, and then I started to get into like exploring and taking trips and road trips, and I learned about the idea of sleeping in your car, and I literally remember, oh my God, it's all coming back. I remember thinking, I literally searched on YouTube, can you sleep in a BMW 320, like the trunk, like seats come down, and I think there's this YouTube video of a guy who has a BMW who like put the seats down. Or maybe it's like a Camry or something, but it's the same like system. And I was like, I could have have my cake and eat it too, like have the BMW, but also be able to sleep in it. And it's just like, I never ended up buying, because like it's just so much money that I didn't want to spend. I ended up spending more on a car than that BMW would have costed, but worth it. Yeah, I mean, everything financial related, and mindset, documenting systems, oh my god, like all of the daily V's that I haven't posted, that's like one of the things that continue, like literally daily comes back as like, I met someone in the sauna like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, from the last hostel, and I was like, yeah, I'm building a software app and doing some like YouTube videos, and she was like, she said something like, oh, like talking, like, and like held out her hand, with like talking into a camera is like a skill. And I was like, yeah, it is. But, and then I told the story of how I posted, or I recorded 267 videos that never have seen the light of day. They're still on my hard drives. Nobody has ever seen them. And they were like, whoa. And I was like, yeah. It's like, oh, I can't wait to rewatch those. But like, oh my god, I can't. The fact that it worked out. I think I have a note that's like, I think I want to get more into communication and speaking, and I think getting on YouTube, like long term, will be like beneficial to. I don't remember exactly what I said, and the next thing down was like, why don't I start by recording videos and not publishing them? Because like the thing that was blocking me was like, how are other people going to perceive, back to this external validation thing, how are other people going to perceive this? And like, oh my god, it's so like scary to like post a video publicly on YouTube, So it's like, why don't I just do them for myself? And I'm literally using the skill that I worked on. Oh my god. So anyway, I think that's enough. You get the picture of like my mindset of like, there's so many things that my past self has just like done or worked on or documented that like I'm literally using now. And I feel every once in a while I do gratitude journaling every day, but every once in a while I think back to my past self and I'm just incredibly grateful. And so if I project forward in the future, what is my future self going to think of me right now? And I'll leave you with that. See you tomorrow.